Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing? This is Leo Naranjo IV, candidate for governor of California 2026. I'm excited today. I got some great news for me. And no, I'm not going to share it with you guys today. You'll just have to wait and hold on, and I'll pass it along eventually. But I wanted to make a quick video today. I'm making a couple quick videos. One wasn't so quick, one that was super quick. Congratulations, Mr. John Bliss. Good luck on your campaign for Merced City Council District 6. You've received the endorsement of Merced County Republican Assembly, and as a candidate for governor, I as well am throwing in my endorsement for you in your campaign endeavors. Good luck, God bless, and I hope you succeed, because I think you will. Seem to be an outstanding person, seem to be an outstanding individual. The Merced folks there liked you. They've known you much longer than myself. They made a collective en masse support for your candidacy. That tells me that they must know what they're doing. We're going to trust in that they do, and I've supported you as well. I just sent out that video and got it into YouTube right away, and also put it on X. So why am I here? Why am I doing this one now, third one of the day? Because we got a lot of people that like to pop out videos. Yeah, anyway. Videos with a little bit of substance, a lot of smoke. If you're lucky, a mirror. But anyway. Elaine Culotti. Who's that? Who's that, Leo? Never heard of that name. Maybe. Haven't heard of that name. Maybe. Is she a candidate? I don't know. Maybe. Hi, Elaine. My video here is for you. I thought it would be better than me trying to contact you in email, because you might not want to read it, and you might not even want to see this video. But human nature being that it is, I think you are, and I think you will when I say what I have to say. I met Miss Elaine, the lipstick farmer, the young lady with the TV show. Look up on Wikipedia if you want to know more. I'll just leave it at that. Affluential. Property burned up, got destroyed in a Palisades fire. Very upset about that. Hell, I would be too. Beautiful home destroyed by stupidity of the Democratic Party, the people in charge of it, and the LA local government, and their laws, regulations, rules, and games. Sad area to walk through. Sad area to visit. You can almost hear the sorrow in the debris that's still left around there, in the open spaces of what used to be homes. You can picture into your mind what used to be there and what is now, nearly a year later. Posters on chimneys. Structurally sound, except the slab, got to redo that. Or whatever else that they have on properties there. I would have posted my video that I took when I was down there, except many of those properties and even the area had signs that indicated no trespassing. Violators will be prosecuted. Who owns the property, first off? And who would you get permission from to step onto it or be told you can't step onto it? So that's why I didn't post it. But Miss Elaine, we met in Sacramento at the Recall Gavin Newsom event in August. Interesting conversation that we had. Very short, very brief, very professional, very courteous. Gave me the offer to attend walking around Palisades with you, if you recall. I do. Yes, I did. Wasn't a great fan of your stance for illegal immigration at that time. Kind of made me raise an eyebrow and have to look at you in a little bit of a different light. But again, sometimes I jump to conclusions, as my family is fond of telling me, and I held my opinion in check. But the eyebrow was already raised. Something not right here. then I got to meet you again in the September GOP conference, the convention held down in Southern California. I got to meet you there. We had another gracious conversation. I reminded you about your offer to me walking with you throughout the Palisades so that you could tell me, show me, and explain what happened, what's going on, and where the lack of commitment is from local government. I let you know at that point. I came to that convention a day early because I wanted to see for myself what I was getting into. In the military, they call that reconning. Old habits die hard. And then we had the convention, and I told you I was going to be there for that. Had the governor candidate debate, 30-second shotguns. Ooh, that was a hard one. Miss Joe Rykoff put that one together. I think I held my own. Speaks for itself. Look it up on the other videos. It's out there. And I let you know that I was going to be there an extra day past the convention because I wanted to go see Palisades myself. I wanted to witness what was down there. I wanted to see these schools that had the girl problem and the sports league problem dealing with transgender students. And I accepted your offer to be present. Unbeknownst to me, I didn't know that you reside in San Diego and you were a little bit away from where I needed to be to walk around with you, So I did it on my own. Went to Palisades, drove there with the spouse, looked around at the shattered remains of many houses, many of the plots of land, surprised that there were some buildings that were still standing amidst all the ruins. They've either been rebuilt or they were untouched by the flames. I would look at that as a hand of God moment. Call it what you will. Then we went to Temecula High School. Then I went to the Poly High School. And then we had a conversation, which I thought was very endearing. You wanted to know where I stood as a candidate. And what were my plans A, B, and C, because you had some big backers that were looking to donate funds to candidates, but they needed assurances before they started pulling loans to make donations. Ah, yes, that conversation. Pulling a few feathers. Might be some bridges getting torched here. Leave that up to you. Leo, what are you going to do if plan A falters? I'm going to continue with plan B, ma'am. Well, what's your plan B? To do plan A, which is to win the race. Well, what's your plan C? There is no plan C. It's plan A and it's plan B. See one above. Well, have you considered, Leo, perhaps, consider this, sir. Perhaps you would look at something other than a race for governor. Perhaps you might want to consider, is there an assemblyman in your district that's open and unchallenged? Is there a legislative Senate race that's open and unchallenged? City council? School board? County council race you might entertain? Wouldn't want your experiences to go to waste? No, I haven't and I'm not. Have you considered, Leo, the possibilities of entertaining, if you drop this race, joining onto a slate of people that might be running for other choices? Attorney General, Secretary of State, maybe Lieutenant Governor? No, I'm not, and I haven't. And why would I be entertaining a slate of candidates this far into the process? A little bit too late for that, I explained. You wanted to do something like that, you should have gave that out early, started it early, championed it early, and put out names early so that people would know who the hell they're looking at. Well, Leo, I would like you to reassess where you're at. Think about what you're doing. Think about the implications of what you're doing. And know that we have to get behind one strong candidate who has the opportunity to win so that we can prevent the Democrats from gaining the seat in California as governor. Okay. Sure, I'll entertain the concept. Have a long drive back to get to Sacramento from Orange County or Oceanside from the convention. I'll give it much thought on my drive back. I'll give it much thought when I go to sleep that night. Then I will return a contact to you via email on what I decide. And I did, didn't I? I sent you an email, ma'am, on where I stand, what I'm doing, what I'm not going to do, what I'm not going to be pressured to do, what I'm not going to let you with funding, anybody else with funding who may decide to withhold funding, decide for my future in this race. If a rich candidate couldn't do it, if your wealth couldn't do it, if the county management, the county board of supervisors couldn't do it, and anybody else that I've ran across couldn't do it, what makes you in your mind think that I'm going to drop out because you suggested it, dangling the carrots in front of me of dollar signs or positions to other things other than what I'm seeking? I would look like an abject ass doing that. But somebody hasn't paid attention to my website. You may do it now. I don't walk into situations to look like an idiot on purpose. I walk into situations to get things done. Now, if my opponents look like idiots, that's on them. I'm here to accomplish something, not to make a bunch of noise and platitudes, looking for carrots on a plate, cake in the saucer, or anything else that's being offered, proffered, etc., etc. I'm not saying that you did that, because that would be allegedly, right? Made a contact in the last couple of weeks with a mutual friend of ours, Miss Culotti. That contact that you had with that person was to determine whether you were going to jump into the race and be a governor candidate in California. You. God bless you if you do. That puts you at about that will put us with Mr. Swalwell jumping in now at 73 candidates for governor. Well, 73 people that have intentions of running for governor. Let's put it like that. California Form 460 being completed by yourself, if you've done it. I was informed that you were going to run as a no party preference candidate, NPP. Ooh. Well, that's interesting to know. That was interesting to be told that, because that immediately reflected my mind back to our one-on-one conversation and that email I sent you. So much for the slate, so much for the support, so much for the what I need to do not to split votes, so much for the standing behind one Republican candidate to win. How does that now fit with you if you've decided to jump in, run for candidate as a governor in 2026 as an NPP candidate? Where's the camaraderie now? Where is the backing of a slate now? Remember, steps of the Capitol, my little eyebrow went up when you started being a little bit too gracious to illegal aliens on that question and flirted with the word amnesty. Here we are, full circle. You may be jumping into this race as a no party preference candidate with some big financial backing, I might add. Hey, that's on the internet. Don't get upset. It's already there. My wife found that out on the drive back home from the GOP convention. Why would a multimillionaire try to pressure a grassroots who everybody feels is a nobody candidate to quit a race for the governorship of this state? Were you bored? Or did you think that I would fall for an okey doke? Probably a lot of people you've ran into through your lifetime. Was I part of the cabal of folks that you're used to dealing with? I'm not sure. I mean, I have my own opinions on why you did what you did, but I'll leak them a little bit here. I think you did it at somebody else's behest. Who that is, I'll just keep close to my chest on who that candidate could be. Because I've noticed, for some strange reason, some of my counterpart candidates don't seem as cordial or friendly lately. I mean, they're professionally courteous, yes. I'll give them that. But when you're kind of cold on a Veterans Day meeting with another vet, yeah, something happened. We know what it is, because I've been talking about what it is. So, Ms. Culotti, if you're in the race, congratulations. Welcome to the mix. You're a no-party candidate, no-party preference candidate. So let me start there if you're here. If you're not in the race, well, don't worry about it. But you have gone online, especially in the last couple of days, and made a couple of interesting posts. And I'm responding to one of them by what you stated, that you feel that no governor candidate has sufficiently responded to your questions or has talked about things you wish the candidates to talk about. You stated, ma'am, they have not discussed, and you listed your items of concern. My challenge to you is, we've had a conversation on some of those items. So, yeah, a candidate has spoken to you addressing some of your concerns. The other ones are kind of new to me, but I'll go with it for a moment. I wasn't aware that you had additional concerns other than the ones that I discussed with you. And so since you have those concerns, I would bring them up too in conversation. If you'd like to have them one-on-one, that's fine. Or we can do it here online. I think I'll pop one or two off here online. The taxes that are being imposed on you folks with wealth in LA were determined by your local agencies. Blink, blink. What can we do to alleviate those as governor? Well, we can try and put some pressure on your local agencies. We can try and put some recommendations into the ear of your local agencies. But as far as the pressure for removing those taxes, I think that would have to start with the residents who imposed them. You included. Start a campaign. Launch a movement. Got a lot of financial backers you were kind of dangling over my head. Talk to the same ones that you were enlightening me that you had contact with to start a campaign to overturn those very laws from your city council and your county council. As a governor, I will do what I can to have those laws repealed. because I think, yes, they are. I agree with you on that aspect. They're detrimental to the residents down there, and it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. It added to the problems. But then again, look at what was voted into office. They didn't just grow there. Somebody put them there. It's called an election. Has consequences. Other things I've discussed with you. And in case you missed it, you can look on my website, leonaranjo, the number 4governor.com. You'll see a lot of things that I address there that may or may not satisfy your curiosities or your sensibilities to want to know answers to. But there's a lot of things there that answer everything kind of plainly. This ain't platitudes, and it ain't promises, and I'm not guaranteeing, and you don't see those two words in my campaign on my website. And if you do, please let me know, because I'll quickly get that fixed. I've said it before numerous times. You heard me on the steps of the Capitol say it. I don't use the words guarantee or promise, and there's a reason for it. We've got 30 years of that crap, and look where we're at from guarantees and promises from candidates. Where we're at today. Look at my little time clock buzzer here, and I'm actually going to be keeping this short. Yay, I'm making my quota. I just wanted to let you know, ma'am. A candidate has spoken to you. A candidate has answered some questions. A candidate has reached out to you from the Republican side to address your concerns. One of two things is true. You either didn't think much of the candidate to pay attention or listen, or you just flat out were disinterested in hearing anything that anybody had to say for your own purposes. Number two is rude. Number one is more feasible. I would give considerations that you weren't that rude, but number one was more feasible. You didn't pay attention to what was said by somebody who you didn't deem respectful, rich, influential, powerful, worthy enough to listen to. That's fine. I get it. People on the palace don't generally hang out with the people in the valley. The hardcore truth of that is rich folk don't hang out with the poor folk. But the rich folk seem to need the poor folk right now to get off some of them laws that the rich folk have allowed to happen. Ooh, I slipped into some southern slang. My apologies. Flashbacks of Georgia. That's where we are. That's where we're at. If you're not running, well, by all means, I'll be willing to entertain that conversation with you again. What's my plan A? To win in this state. What's my plan B? To remove obstacles from me winning in this state. What's my plan C? C1 and 2 above. Mediocrity is not here, ma'am. Losing is not a standard that I embellish, ma'am. Running around trying to sell tickets just for central committees to be famous, popular, and enriched and enlightened is not one of my acquirements or my goals, ma'am. That's what we're trying to be saddled with now by the GOP force-feeding us two candidates that are detrimental to this state. One of them, and I'm going to call it out by name, Mr. Hilton, for his wanting to overturn Prop 13, something that was enacted and established back in 1978. You think I'm irked about that on this video with you? Wait till I cut loose on him. And I don't care that he's a fellow candidate. My oath to this nation was to protect and to defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Every military person took that oath. Prop 13 is a death knell for people in this state with the problems that we have now compiling on top of it. and for you to whether it's jokingly, offhand, or you allowed some so-called policymaker on your staff to get footloose and fancy free with your commentary, sir, you have caused problems. He's rich and powerful and influential, so you can listen to him, or you can listen to the rational guy that's trying to do things for California to fix the problems that Gino, governor in name only, Newsom has caused us and will continue to cause us as he gets pulled out of this state because of term limits. If you want to run, welcome to the mix. But let's be a little honest. If you're here to say no one has talked to you as a governor candidate and address your problems, that's not factually correct, and that's actually a little bit untruthful. I have. That's the big he said, she said moment. You started in California with nothing. Reading the bio of you in Wikipedia and some of those historical facts that they present. You, of all people, should know what it is to be where you were at then, as opposed to now. But we seem to have forgotten where you came from to where you're at in your mannerisms, which are showing online with your videos. My suggestion, humble that it is, you don't have to pay attention to me. Go back and look at the last 2 videos you posted and maybe reconsider what you're demanding and asking from candidates to address for you. Because it looks like that was just for you. First and foremost, I'm running for the citizens of this state, and there are many citizens. You are one of them. As my neighbor is, as my neighbors are, as the people around me are, as the people in LA are, and up and down this state are. Considerations I have to make for everybody if I were elected to represent them fairly, evenly across the board. First and foremost, for the citizens of this state does not start with party, pundits, the 1%ers first, or consultants. So I'm not here dangling a carrot. I'm not here offering anything to you. A lot of flashbacks to movies that keep popping into mind for a reason. Jesus is good. God gives me wisdom to a degree. Yeah. I'm not offering you anything because I have nothing to offer. I'm just telling you what I'm getting ready to do should I get elected to the state to make the adjustments needed to be made, contrary to what Newsom, Mr. Gino, is trying to do to it. No carrots, no string, no promises, no guarantees. I'm letting you know what I'm about directly. Phoniness is over there. Last place acceptance of losership and the kin trying to carve up the kingdom are over there. I'm just a straight up guy. If you are running, good luck. Just like anybody else. Who are you? What chance do you have? What office have you held? Have you been in office, ma'am? I don't think your party presses that type of questioning to a candidate as the Republicans do. You have some wealth. Last rich person tried to buy their way in with $140 million of their own money. Are you prepared to do that? Maybe you should think about running for city council instead. Aim a little bit lower, like you tried to convince me. The things we say. before we get into those positions where we have to hear those words come back to haunt us. It'll be interesting. And if you're not a candidate, it's going to be really interesting right now to see, once you calm down from being mad at me on this video, what you want to do next. Call your friends and tell them to F this guy. I can see that happening. Call your friends and tell them that everything you possibly can, blank this guy out. I can see that happening too. Matter of fact, I can see a whole plethora of things that you could do with your status towards my campaign. And why? Because I've already made the announcement of what I face, ma'am. I'm standing here in front of opposition. I'm standing here in front of consultants. I'm standing here in front of money, wealth, power, and influence. I'm standing in the way of other people's progress who are trying to benefit themselves at the expense of everybody in this state. 2 million of us have already fled. Who's picking up the reins to fight for the ones that are left, to fight back against the lunacy that we keep having to endure? And I haven't seen very many contenders recently. Haven't seen any legitimate ones, which is why now I'm into this pickle. I'm going to face hostility. I'm going to face detriments. I'm going to face nasty things. I'm going to face threats. I'm going to face all kinds of things. And I'm not even talking about from the Democratic side of the House yet, because I'm admitting it's my side that's the first attacks I'm going to be receiving. So, with all this being said, I hope you have a good afternoon. Hope it's not raining too hard down there, because as predicted before, since I've been a teenager forward, Los Angeles burns up in the summer. And in the winter, here come the rains to wash everything away with the mud and the mud problems that are soon to follow. Now compounded by the idiocy of the local government down there, who A, couldn't figure out what to do with the fires, and now they're going to have an even bigger problem trying to figure out how to handle the rain and the mud. Can't help you, because I'm only a candidate, and even if I did go down there to try and help, most of the people down there would look at me, scoff, and tell me to go get bent. Today, God bless, good luck. If you want to support my campaign, Leo Naranjo, the number 4governor.com, please research. There's a couple of ways that you can donate funding, a couple of ways for those folks that you claim you know to donate funding. Get 100 of your friends together, $1,000 a pop. Oh, hell, let's press it. $2,000 a pop, individual donation size. I'll move some mountains, because God will help me do it. Got enough of your friends, run a PAC. Now you're talking some serious money. Oh, there's some connections with PAC money, though, Leo. Yes, there is. I'm well aware of that. And here's what happens when we are negotiating here. You'll send me all kinds of forms of paperwork, platitude, and promises. I'll have one statement to make. For me to accept your money, you accept the fact there are no strings attached in donating to my campaign or me, period. I'm not owned by a group of people to run this campaign. That's the difference. I'll work with you, but I'm not going to work for you in that sense. That's the difference. God bless everybody out there. You have a great evening. Be safe if you're driving around, especially in the LA area with all the nasty weather. Watch and be mindful of the weather, especially if you're elderly. Do not put yourself in a position to catch a cold at this time of day. Be around to enjoy Thanksgiving with your family and your friends. Be around for Christmas and to bring in the new year of 2026 and all the wonderful things that we all are looking forward to accomplish. Thank you very much, one and all. Once again, my name is Leo Naranjo IV, candidate for Governor, California 2026. You can find me at my website, leonaranjo4governor.com. Appreciate it all. Be safe. Have a great day.